What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to jump in with a quick rundown of the Destiny content vault as we head into year 8 with the Edge of Fate. Bungie have previously given us updates regarding the content vault and their general plans for how they'll approach it, so we'll touch on that again. We'll also round up a bunch of the content from this past year that will be going away in some capacity, and that'll mean in the final weeks of episode Heresy, and of course the final shape year, there'll be a few remaining opportunities to complete content or earn specific rewards. So we'll break down all of that, as well as how current gear in the game will be affected in Edge of Fate, playlist changes, a roadmap of major content drops, and a few other things which we'll round up in the video. So if you guys enjoyed this one or find it useful, get subscribed to the channel so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content, but now let's get into it. I made a video last week touching on some of the content from this year briefly, and when I spoke about content vaulting in the year of Final Shape, it did seem to cause some confusion, as there were folks who thought that Final Shape itself would end up actually being vaulted. It's worth highlighting, a while back Bungie confirmed that they no longer plan to sunset any expansion content, so they've said seasonal content will continue to stay throughout the current expansion year and then move to the Destiny content vault when a new expansion launches. So in terms of Final Shape itself, it will be sticking around. That includes, of course, the Pale Heart, all of the key destinations for Final Shape, as well as the raid Salvation's Edge. And looking across the course of this last year, things like Vesper's Host and Sundered Doctrine, the two dungeons, they'll stick around and quite possibly be featured into the new portal system that we'll get for activity content when we move into Edge of Fate. Also in terms of Final Shape, there are elements like Excision and Dual Destiny, which should still be available in the game, but in terms of stuff which is likely to go away, that will be any of the episode content. So from Echoes, that'll include things like Breach Executable, Enigma Protocol, and the Echoes Battlegrounds. Then from Revenant, the Onslaught variation, Salvation, as well as Tomb of Elders and Contest of Elders. And otherwise, from Heresy, activities like the Nether and Court of Blades are likely to be removed or have their access limited as we move into this next year. However, much like the dungeons, Vespers, or Sundered Doctrine, exotic mission content, including things like Kel's Vengeance or Derealize from Heresy, will likely still be available, and it's possible that other episode content may be cycled into the game via the portal in the future. But essentially, if you want to wrap up any episode content, it will need to be done before Edge of Fate drops. So hopefully that clarifies that part, and if Bungie give us any updates on activities which might stick around, then I will keep you up to date. On to other items which are going to be removed or changed. If you are stashing bounties up for Edge of Fate, Bungie did outline that bounties from Trials of Osiris, so Same 14, or Gunsmith bounties, as well as episodic vendors like Failsafe and Apothecary Ido, will be removed at the launch of Edge of Fate, so basically it's not worth holding on to any of those bounties specifically. But others, as far as we know, should be sticking around, although Bungie's general advice is to turn them in before we get to the expansion, which I think is more of a disclaimer, just in case any of them do end up being wiped out. Otherwise, Bungie have outlined that adept weapons will be replaced with tiered weapons in Edge of Fate. That doesn't mean that we'll lose existing adept weapon roles, but in terms of the lineup, this week we've got Plug 1 dropping as the Nightfall weapon and tomorrow's Answer dropping from Trials. These will be 2 final weeks that those weapons will be available in their existing form. Then for Nightfalls, on the week of July 1st, Lotus Eater will be the featured drop, and on July 8th we'll get Wild Style. So that'll be the final time those 2 weapons drop as adept variants. In Trials, July 1st will be Ashayara's Wrath, and July 8th will be Ayesha's Care, again for the very final time, before we move into the new weapon system. So if you want any of those rewards, be sure to get them before Edge of Fate. In terms of current gear going into the expansion, Bungie have said it will be very viable in Edge of Fate, and you'll surely use it in the near future when beginning the new expansion, and even in the contest mode for the world's first race. So in the near to mid-term, a lot of our existing stuff will still be relevant in the expansion, and Bungie have said at a high level, new gear we introduce alongside gear tiering will offer new benefits once you start getting involved with certain activities. Armor will have spikier stats and higher total numbers, as well as specific archetypes that will help to put together stronger builds. The same thing with weapons, the higher the tier, the more extra perks and enhancing options they'll have. Although they are relatively baseline improvements versus major weapon perks, so anything that's good right now will remain good, at least for the next few weeks. Onto scheduling and vaulting related things though, Bungie have said, for Iron Banner, just worth keeping in mind that it will not return until September. So Saladin will be taking a break, and they'll return with the PvP game mode in September when the Ash and Iron major update arrives. So presumably, Bungie are going to create the event home system for Iron Banner as well on that basis. but an extended downtime for Iron Banner overall. And then, starting July 29th, Trials will return with new weapons and armor, which will be part of the tiered system, so that'll be a couple of weeks after the launch of Edge of Fate. Otherwise, Gambit will be sticking around as we move forward, but essentially will no longer receive support from Bungie. So they've said Gambit will be taking a form of hiatus, and players will still be able to play the activity and earn legacy rewards for transmog purposes, but the activity will live under the Worlds tab as it does now. And they've said they have plans to bring the spotlight back to Gambit in the future with updated rewards and mechanics that players haven't seen since the days of Prime. So another pause for Gambit there, but probably a much longer one than what we'll see for Iron Banner. Other little bits of content from the tail end of Heresy. Firstly, the unknown antechamber, or the chess puzzle that we got at the end of Heresy, which can drop a few unique rewards. That'll also go away when we get to Edge of Fate. And then, the current event, Ride of the Nine, will additionally conclude just before July 15th, so if you want any of these existing weapons, now is the time to get them, as they'll essentially never be earnable again as far as we understand it. And for a final quick rundown here of important dates coming up in the next few months. Firstly, Edge of Fate, the expansion, of course, drops on July 15th. That's a paid drop, but there'll also be the Reclamation season that drops alongside it, and core game updates, which are available for all players. Then, the first major update that follows Edge of Fate will be Ashen Iron, which will come out on September 9th. That will be available for all players, so there'll be some free content in there, and a sort of seasonal activity that Bungie have said will take place on the Plaguelands. During the Ashen Iron update, as Bungie outlined though, of course, Iron Banners will return with updates, and then, while of course we will get other seasonal events through the year, and events like Arms Week, which Bungie have outlined, the next major drop will be on December 2nd when Renegades comes out, and that's another paid expansion. From there again, weekly events and things will roll out through the winter, but heading into the early part of spring next year, we'll get the Shadow and Order major update, which will drop on March 3rd. And so there we have it. The short of it is basically that if you want to earn anything from the final shape year, which isn't part of the expansion, now is going to be the final few weeks to actually do it. Beyond that, we may see certain seasonal things from this year return, featured on the portal and stuff, as we move into Edge of Fate or later in that content rotation. But otherwise, Bungie maintained that expansion content specifically will not be vaulted. So hopefully this bit of a breakdown or recap has been helpful. If it has, a rating down below really does help me on the channel. Also, give me your thoughts in the comment section, and if you do enjoy the video, get subscribed and I will keep you posted with more content. Otherwise though, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.